how do you release the pressure of expectations? By creating a frame of detachment around the outcome. Each and every one of us have relationships. They're either with our families, our friends, our colleagues, our loved ones, our intimate loved ones, and most importantly, the relationship that we have with ourselves. Reality is a very scary place if one chooses to look at it for what they hope and wish reality to be instead of what it actually is. So when you use detachment in your relationships, it just allows a little bit of flexibility around an outcome. So we're not so focused and hard driven on the outcome and only the outcome and only being this specific way. By having a bit of detachment, you're able to have a little bit of flexibility to say, okay, this isn't working so well, so let me just step back and look at this and be able to assess it and go maybe in this direction, instead of being so hard pressed and think it can only be one way. So we're going to use two scenarios to explain detachment in a intimate relationship. So in scenario one, it is a couple who have been together and they are not communicating effectively. They're not on the same page. There's a lot of coldness and distance in the way that they speak with each other and the way that they interact with each other. And both parties have a fear of addressing what is before them. So they detach emotionally from the situation because they both choose not to address what is before them, what is the reality that is before them, because there's a fear. And in relationships, we have like this expectations that everything's easy, that we're going to move through, that we can have a conversation and clear it up really quickly and move on, that, you know, sex cures everything, that just being nice cures everything. And relationships, although easy, do have some levels of complication. And if both parties aren't on the track of saying, this is the reality of what's going on, how do we move forward to be able to both get what we want in this relationship, instead of the narrative being, I watch these movies and the romantic relationships are so beautiful and this is exactly what I want on my relationship, which is like a projection, without doing any of the work. And when it doesn't happen that way, then there's an expectation that's not being met, and that's where the detachment comes in a cold way, which happens in a lot of relationships, unfortunately, because both parties perhaps don't have the skill sets to be able to use their words to express what they want and being able to create a harmonious and thoughtful and strong relationship. So that's scenario one. In scenario two, we'll use the same couple, obviously, and use detachment as the word. So you can see it in both places, right? So in scenario two, the couple, they're not connected. They're not communicating effectively. They're not intimate. And they both recognize that there's a challenge before them and they don't really like the way it's going. So instead of they're using detachment from their expectations of how they hope and wish the relationship to be, and they detach from that aspect. And they sit down together and they're open and they're honest and they're connecting to the fact that there is conflict or a challenge within their relationship. And both parties communicate in an effective and respectful way, stating exactly what they both want in the relationship, acknowledging what is not working, and being able to come together and compromise and communicate to be able to direct the relationship in the way that they want it. So they use the detachment of how a relationship should go. They detached from that and actually just faced the reality of what was before them. by detaching from the emotions and thoughts and fears about what they were thinking might be. They just detach from that. And instead, we're just open to the situation that was before them. And that is how you can use detachment in our relationships to drive the focus or the intention of what is wanted. It allows you to have so many more opportunities in scenario 2 when it comes to being able to use detachment, because you're able to respond to the challenge before you. We're not becoming reactive and letting our emotions and feelings cloud everything that's going on and make the situation worse by just creating this kind of fog, hoping and praying that this is not going to work or this is going to work, instead of scenario 2, detaching from that outcome and just being able to be vulnerable and look straight ahead and say, this is what's going on. What do we both want? And this example is user-friendly in every single relationship. It can be done with our siblings. It can be done with our family. It can be done within an office with our colleagues. And most importantly, it can also be done with yourself, because each and every one of us know everything that's going on with our own individual person. And you and I, all of us, make a decision to either look straight ahead and solve what is before us or not. It's a choice. So even with yourself, it could be a weight issue, it could be dealing with exercise, it could be health issues, it could be one of many things, and you have two choices. And detachment is a tool that can be used to address the challenge that's before you and not get caught up in all the minutia of the emotions and thoughts and fears around the challenge that prevents us to arrive at an outcome. Every Thursday, I post a video just like this, dealing with relationships or dealing with autism or dealing with health and wellness. That's what this platform is all about. My favorite quote is by Maya Angelou, and it's when we know better, we do better. This platform radiates that kind of energy, because everything that I learned either through reading or being with my clients or in my own personal life or listening to my friends or just observing life in general, anything that I can look at and tweak and make it better, and it works for me, then I share it with you, so it works for you, and then you share it. And that is how this works. Every Tuesday, I have a blog on my website at vanessaleecurley.com. Connect, share, and comment below. Click subscribe, and let's build a tribe. Remember, when we value ourselves, we value each other. Take care.